Well, Donald Trump Jr. joins me. Donald, thank you for your time. We look forward to welcoming you back to Australia for your first speaking tour. Tell us what you think of us. You've been here before.
I have. I spent a summer there, about 4 or 5 weeks, the summer between my junior year of college. It was just an amazing experience. Literally backpack all over the country, stayed in hostels, youth hostels, like dove the Barrier Reef, went out to Alice Springs and Air Rock, to Darwin, and I saw it all. It was a great little adventure, and I really enjoyed it. This will be a little bit different, but I'm excited to be back. I always love
it's lovely. I mean, you've been to places we haven't been, I have to say, but you did say, in knowing that you were coming, that it's sad to see what is happening here in Australia. You mean presumably the woke politics, the cancel culture, and the focus on race? What toll have these taken on America?
Listen, I think incredibly significant. If you look at the decisions that are being made and what's guiding them in America, it's astounding. There's no longer a meritocracy. If you can check a couple of boxes, you too can be a brain surgeon. You don't actually have to be capable of doing those things. The woke ideology has become a cancer on our productivity, on our culture, on our country, on our society. And it's a big problem for the West. I think we saw that across all of the places that, perhaps prior to COVID, I would have thought were, of like mind, places where there were meritocracies, places where freedom sort of abounded. I would have said Australia was one of those countries. I would have said Canada is one of those countries. New Zealand, the UK, and the United States were sort of the strongholds I would have named. And yet you see the COVID response and the lockdowns and the draconian measures across the board and the silencing of dissenting opinions that were proven to be 100% right. Whether it was the people that called nonsense on Russia for 5 years, it didn't matter. If you said Russia, you were given every accolade. You won Pulitzer Prizes. They're not taken away now that we realize, or everyone realized, that it's all a hoax. The same thing was done as it relates to COVID and the Wuhan response. Of course it came from the Wuhan lab that studies the exact virus in question in the town that the virus originated. That was never the least plausible answer. It was always the most plausible answer. And yet if you said that and you were in science or medicine, Alan, you were ridiculed and driven out of existence. It's shocking how this stupidity has
I've got to tell you, I know all about that, Donald, because here, if you opened your mouth about any of this stuff, you were cancelled because, I mean, you're most welcome with these views. You've said these things you're talking about, your words, are the biggest existential threats we face in the West. This is what Donald Trump Jr. has said, and if unchecked, can lead, he said, to the decay of Western society. Now, as you've just heard, this is a man not afraid to be provocative, throwing a few verbal grenades at the left. How, though, do you manage, Donald, these persistent attacks, often dishonest, against you and your father?
Well, so far they've all been proven to be dishonest. Again, I got to do 50 hours of testimony before our Congress, whether that was Senate, House Intelligence, Senate Intelligence Committee, House Judiciary Committees, amongst others, for treason. Alan, that's a crime punishable by death in America. I got to do that. Turns out it was all based on a hoax. Hunter Biden, the son of the president, can take $1 billion investment from China. And, China is many things, but they're not stupid. They don't invest in crackheads. That's not part of their diversity agenda when they're deciding their investments. The same thing with Russian oligarchs who are money laundering, money tied to human trafficking and sex trafficking rings across Europe. If I did any of those things, I'd be in jail right now. When it's done by the leftist president and the son of the leftist president, it's not even a topic of conversation. It can't be touched. It's that poison in that ideology. So for me, how do I do it? I do it because I fight. That's what I do. I'm not going to take it lying down. I have 5 young children, and there's far too much at stake.